Welcome back to our Auburn Recruiting Junkies. Yes, it's time for another commitment video. We're going to be diving into the offensive side of the ball on the 2026 class. For this one, we'll give you the quick facts and, of course, what it means for Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers. Before we do that, though, I want to welcome you back to the channel, E2C Network, where we share the Auburn experience, all about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. If it's orange and blue, it's what we do. So thank you so much for joining us and what we're going to be doing in this particular video today. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of talk about Auburn's 2026 class to this point at the time of this commitment, whether it's just faltering or they dropping the ball, all this stuff. There's things about NIL August 1st. Don't really care about all that right now. We're just here to celebrate this particular commitment and talk about the quick facts that you need to know about them. So let's dive into those particular things. This individual, his name, Jase Mathews. A lot of you have been waiting on this one for a while, and we're excited to hear when he announced he was going to bring his commitment to the forefront this Friday evening afternoon. Now, he's originally from Leakesville, Mississippi, which is I believe, a small town in the lower part of Mississippi, actually kind of close to Mobile, which could be Alabama territory, playing for Greene County High School. Now, obviously, Alabama could be in the mix here, but it didn't seem like they really were, but there was major SEC competition. You're looking at LSU, Texas A&M, Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin, obviously being an in-state college coach there, can have some sway maybe. Those are the teams that Auburn had to beat out for his particular commitment, and we're able to do so. So this is a high-caliber guy that a lot of people wanted. Now, he's a wide receiver. What are his measurables, though? What would we expect out of him in terms of where he might be utilized? If you look on the different sites, you're going to find some variance. 6'1.5", 6'1.5" to 6'2", and then you're going to have 180-ish pounds. Somewhere in that range is where he falls, and obviously it's just still his senior year to go, so he could even do a little bit more growing on that front. So not the biggest wide receiver, not the smallest either. Just kind of some nice measurables there. A lot of people I've seen throwing around the slot receiver tag for him, and that might be the case. We'll see if that retains when he gets over to college. Now, in terms of his high school stats, here's some stats from his last year, which would be his junior year. 68 passes that he caught for 1,138 yards, 15 touchdowns, and that added in even one touchdown pass and a rushing touchdown as well. He also did kick returns. So a lot of versatility here. You throw that in with him, like most high school guys doing multiple sports, basketball, track and field. He's a versatile guy with a lot of athletic skill and talent that he's bringing to the table here. This is another win in the column for Coach Marcus Davis, the wide receiver coach at Auburn, who's really made a name for himself for finding the really good wide receiver talent. Yeah, the high-profile ones, but finding the right guys and really making a core, strong group in that wide receiver room, adding Jase Mathews. Now, in the last little cool storyline with this one, being from the state of Mississippi, obviously, there's probably a name that comes to mind currently on Auburn's roster, Deuce Knight. Yeah, apparently they are really good friends, and you got to imagine that helped with this particular commitment and getting it for the Auburn Tigers. So there's are your quick facts right there for Jase Mathews. Let's talk about the rest of it. What does it mean for the class, for depth chart, for all of those other things? Let's dive into it here. We'll start with the class numbers, as we always do, to get you going. Now, at the time of his commitment, when that actually came to the forefront, we're looking at 12 commitments in the class for Auburn. That made it 7 on the offensive side of the ball, 4 defensively, and the 1 on the special team side of the long snapper to make it 12 total at the time of his commitment. Made it the second out of the state of Mississippi. You don't see Auburn going a whole lot into the state of Mississippi, even with them being so close, which is kind of odd, but it is the second one alongside Eric Perry in this class. Auburn's really good, though, about going over to Mississippi, their neighbor state, and just plucking some people out of there when you primarily see them focus on Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. So that's the numbers breakdown in terms of the class, the first wide receiver in the class. What does this mean in terms of playing time for him? Obviously, we can only speculate very far out based on what we currently know. If you look at the depth chart right now, there's only 2 kind of likely candidates. One, yes, to leave after this season. One would be Horatio Fields. This is his last year of eligibility. And then you've got Eric Singleton, who's a junior, and by all accounts is about ready to have a great year, supposedly, and I believe he will, and maybe he finds the need to go off to the NFL after this year. That does happen from time to time, so we'll just kind of play with that and assume we might have at least 2 guys vacating spots. But there's still that Freeze 4 dynamic that are still all going to be there. The young group that they just brought in behind them. So there's a lot of people to work through to find some playing time when you arrive here. Doesn't mean he can't crack the depth chart when he gets on campus, if he's as talented as he seems to be, and Marcus Davis really likes him. Now, what does this mean in terms of the rest of the class, about the class in general, about the wide receiver room? Are we done yet? That's the question we always like to ask in honor of Trevon Reed. First one in the class at the wide receiver position. So if we look at those numbers of 2 guys maybe leaving at the end of this time, that we can at least confidently say 1 spot's filled, that tells me there's at least another spot available for another wide receiver out there at that position. So obviously we're not done in the class as a whole, just getting started, which is why you shouldn't be dramatic about things and believe some of the dramaticisms about whether the sky is falling for this recruiting class. That's still out there, but also the wide receiver position probably has some more availability too in the room. That's all of it for you. The facts, things that you need to know, and what it means for Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers. We want to know from you what you thought about Jase Mathews down in the comments section below. Thanks for hanging out. Until we talk to you again, War Eagle.